I am so sick of all the crap coming out of the isekai genre, where the main character is a sword, a tree, and then a frickin' vending machine. God knows what's next. And with that, I'm gonna be taking matters into my own hands. So get in the back, bitch. We're gonna go thrift shopping in the top 10 most underrated isekai anime out there. Trust me, it's in there. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So without further nonsense, let's just dive on in. To kickstart the list, we have Parallel World Pharmacy. Here, we follow the story of a genius medical researcher who dies from overwork. So I guess being a dedicated worker isn't always good, and the dude is reincarnated into a medieval world where medicine is primitive at best. The show takes a refreshing approach to the isekai genre by focusing on medical science rather than the typical action or adventure, making it stand out from the crowd. The protagonist brings modern medical knowledge to the new world, providing solutions to ailments that were previously untreatable. And while the main character's overpowered abilities might seem typical of an isekai protagonist, the story's strength lies in how it handles the medical themes realistically. It avoids the cliche of simply curing everything with magic, and instead it highlights the importance of proper medical treatment. The relationships he builds with his family, his mentor, and the community add depth to the story. However, the anime does suffer from a decline in excitement midway, where the initial uniqueness of concept fades away just a little bit. Overall, Parallel World Pharmacy offers a wholesome yet occasionally dramatic narrative, setting itself apart with its strong, well-researched focus on pharmacy. Despite its somewhat mediocre art and sometimes slow pacing, this anime remains a hidden gem in the isekai genre, especially for fans looking for a break from traditional adventure stories. Then at number 9, we have Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. So first we had a doctor, now we have a chef. What's next? A gardener? Well, not like I'm complaining anywho. This is a lighthearted isekai where the main character, an ordinary dude by the way, is summoned to a fantasy world, and he uses his unique skill to order modern food from an online supermarket. Yeah, you heard that right. So instead of saving kingdoms or fighting epic battles, the main character simply cooks up dishes that even mythical creatures find irresistible. What makes this anime stand out is its humorous and relaxing tone. No big endgame here, just delicious food and quirky companions like a powerful yet food-obsessed wolf. The main character's skills are somewhat overpowered, not in combat, but in the kitchen, that's for sure. Each dish he prepares enhances his strength or provides other unique buffs, adding a clever twist to the typical isekai abilities. This culinary focus is a fresh take on the genre, catering to viewers who enjoy food-centered narratives, and the show's charms lies in its simplicity, making it an easy watch when you're looking for a fun escape from the more intense isekai titles. So even though the anime lacks deep narrative, it excels at delivering feel-good moments. The animation is serviceable, especially during the food preparation scenes, and never in my dreams did I think that Mappa would animate an isekai. So overall, it's a satisfying anime for foodies and isekai fans alike. And after that, at number 8, we have Restaurant to Another World. A magical dining experience where a small, unassuming restaurant opens its doors to fantastical beings every Saturday. This is actually quite a peak when it focuses on its heartwarming depiction of various creatures, dragons, elves, demons, finding solace and joy in food that reminds them of simpler times. This isekai doesn't have a plot driven by epic battles or quests, but thrives on the quiet interactions between the chef and his patrons. As an isekai, the show stands out for its relaxing pace and focus on world building through food. Each episode is an anthology of different creatures discovering the wonders of Western cuisine. Though the stakes are low, the emotional connections are a bit mid. And the show is still a delightful escape into a world where food bridges the gap between cultures. And it's the perfect slow burn watch for those who want a break from all those action-packed adventures out there. But if you're looking for something in the action or fantasy genre, then I guess this anime would not be the best for you. And if it is, give it a try. Next at number 7 is Handyman Saito in Another World. In a genre where characters usually rely on magical powers or extraordinary talents, this underrated anime brings a unique twist to the table. The main character is transported to a fantasy world with nothing but his basic handyman skills. While it might sound mundane, his abilities are surprisingly useful. Whether it's fixing armor, unlocking chests, or repairing magical tools, the main character proves that even ordinary skills can be extraordinary in the right context, adding a layer of practicality that is often missing in isekai stories. The anime properly balances humor and slice-of-life elements as the main character navigates his new party of adventurers, because if it hadn't, it would either be too cringy or too dramatic to watch. And while the stakes remain low, the charm of the series lies in its relatable protagonist and the bond he forms with his new companions. It's a light, enjoyable watch for anyone tired of the usual power fantasy isekai. It's an underrated series that shows how even the most unexpected talents can make a difference in a magical world. And at 6, we have The Dungeon of Black Company. Finally, a freaking title which does not end with another world. Anywho, this anime is basically a parody on the corporate world. Here, our main character is an arrogant NEET who suddenly finds himself enslaved by a mining company in a fantasy world. So unlike most isekai protagonists, the main character's goal isn't to save the world, but to climb the corporate ladder by any means necessary. The show's biting satire and anti-hero lead makes it a unique entry in the genre. Even with the fantasy setting, this show somehow manages to deliver a message on some quite serious topics, like the exploitation of labor and harsh working environments. And watching the main character manipulate the system to turn the tables on his captors is both hilarious and oddly relatable. The anime's dark humor sets it apart from more conventional isekai and its characters. Particularly, the main character is refreshingly flawed, yet endearing. But there is a disclaimer, this show might be a bit too much for some watchers. So while not for everyone, The Dungeon of Black Company is an underrated gem for those who enjoy their fantasy with a side of social commentary and a heavy dose of sarcasm. And after that, at number 5, we have Now and Then, Here and There. Now this is what you call a good title. This anime is one of the darkest entries on this list, taking the isekai concept in a far more serious and dystopian direction. The protagonist is transported to a desolate, war-torn world where resources are scarce and violence is everywhere. But unlike most isekai where characters find themselves empowered, the main character is thrown into a situation where he's largely helpless. This anime doesn't shy away from the horrors of war and brutal realism, setting it apart from more typical power fantasies. For fans of more mature, emotionally gripping narratives, Now and Then, Here and There is an absolute must-watch. But just because this show isn't filled with ecchi moments, overpowered main characters, and a whole harem of this anime is often overlooked. But shows like this deserves the recognition for their unflinching portrayal of human suffering and the moral dilemmas of survival. So instead of watching a dude be reincarnated as a goddamn trash can, just watch this one instead. Next up at number 4, we have I'm Standing on a Million Lives. From the outside, this may seem just like another run-of-the-mill isekai with a game-like setup, but the anime quickly proves to be much more than that. The main character and his classmates are transported to a world where they must complete quests to survive. This anime explores darker, more philosophical themes about morality, survival, and what it means to truly live. And what truly sets this series apart is its thought-provoking nature. The main character is an unconventional protagonist, a completely detached introvert, which leads to some interesting character development as he learns the value of teamwork and human connection. The quests often end up as life or death, and the anime doesn't shy away from exploring the consequences of failure. So overall, this anime offers a unique blend of action, strategy, and introspection, making it an underrated gem in the genre. So be sure to give this one a try. Then at the 3rd spot, we have Sunny Boy. Now this anime is far from your typical isekai. It's an experimental and surreal series that follows a group of students who are suddenly transported to another dimension where the laws of physics no longer apply. The show's slow pacing and unconventional narrative may not appeal to everyone, but for those who enjoy thought-provoking and avant-garde storytelling, Sunny Boy is a treasure trove, and the animation style is distinct and experimental, further adding to the dreamlike atmosphere of the series. And the characters' struggles with their newfound powers and the mysterious world they inhabit create a sense of intrigue and tension throughout. Rather than focusing on battles or quests, the anime dives into existential themes and abstract concepts, making it one of the most unique entries in the genre. So if you are hunting for an anime that is both awesome but terribly underrated at the same time, please check this one out. You'll like it. And at the runners-up spot, we have Sasaki and Peeps. Now, this isn't the first time I'm going to be talking about this anime, and if you still haven't seen it, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, this is an endearing and offbeat take on the isekai genre. Sasaki, an ordinary salaryman, stumbles upon a talking pet bird that opens a portal to another world. The anime balances comedy, adventure, and slice-of-life moments quite well, making it a refreshing change of pace from more action-oriented isekai. Sasaki's down-to-earth personality contrasts with the fantastical elements of the other world, and the dynamic between him and Peeps is both heartwarming and hilarious. While other isekais often focus on grand, world-saving adventures, Sasaki and Peeps is more than interested in the small, everyday moments of wonder and discovery. It's an underrated series that proves you don't need an overpowered protagonist or epic battles to create an engaging isekai. The combination of humor, heart, and a bit of magic makes Sasaki and Peeps a delightful watch, especially for viewers looking for something a bit different than the usual fare. So if you're one of them, go and watch it. And the number 1 spot goes to Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious. Now this anime takes a comedic approach to the isekai genre, flipping the usual tropes on their head, and as always, the main character is summoned to save a world from destruction, but is excessively, yeah, you guessed it, cautious to the point of absurdity. Despite being overpowered, he spends an inordinate amount of time preparing for battle, much to the frustration of the goddess. The show's humor lies in its exaggerated portrayal of the main character's caution, leading to some truly hilarious moments, and the anime knows that it's weird and it doesn't take itself too seriously about it. It pokes fun at the isekai genre while still delivering a solid story with great action scenes. The main character's interactions with the goddess are hilarious, and the series does a fantastic job of balancing humor with the occasional serious moment. So overall, this anime might seem just like another power fantasy isekai, but its clever humor and likable characters make it one of the most entertaining and underrated isekai out there. Well, that's the list for today, guys. So if you were able to make it this far, please be sure to comment on which isekai anime you think needs more attention. Also press on that bell icon and set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. I mean, come on, man. Haven't I worked hard? And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.